Thanks for staying with us. So, women go through quite a bit in life. And last month, we had celebrated International Women's Month, where we talked various issues that women go through. Today, we'll be addressing one. And the fact that when a woman is abused most of her life, especially as a child, how does she break through and break free from that hold, that mental hold with her abuser? And how does she be able to make something of her life? Our guest today is a success story of one of these experiences. She is the founder, MD, CEO of No Leftovers Scale Catering Outfit, Mrs. Ayodeji Megbope. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And one of your most popular things is that you made the moment that Barack Obama ate.
Absolutely.
Yes, so I mean, that's something you're really proud. Yeah, that recipe must be very, very... We'll come to that because we need to work our way up from how it started all the way to get to the point where you were at the White House. But share with us, growing up as a child, when you felt you were abused and it affected your life. Could you share that experience with us so that we can learn from these stories?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Wow, so it all started when I didn't even know what was happening. I just knew something was happening. I just knew that there was a secret that I was compelled to keep, that I dared not share with anybody. But I knew that something was not right, and I had no control over it. And so I grew up, I think it started from around age 10. And so I grew up knowing that there was something that happened at some particular time of the night because this abuser was living with us as a family member. And as I grew up, got into secondary school, I began to understand that there was some violation going on. But, you know, I was so caged. And it was unbelievable how it affected my education, affected my social skills, affected my relationship even with my immediate family. And, you know, I tried so many times to speak out, but I was also such a troublesome child that it was difficult for anybody to believe me. The few attempts I made at, you know, talking to somebody was rebuffed. I was like, you, just keep quiet. And I remember there was a particular day, I mean, I was so intentional about, you know, saying everything. But my mom was like, just go do what I have told you to do. And because my abuser knew that I was going ahead of him, he ran ahead to my mom and said, see, she's so lazy. She's always lazy. She doesn't want to do anything I tell her to do. And my mom just gave me a dirty slap and said, wow, will you go? And that was the beginning of my trauma because, you know, just knowing that the people that should, or the person that should protect you was not understanding of what you were going through. I shut down in my academics. I didn't have any sense of worth, no sense of, you know, I just felt that I was just there, just barely surviving. And as I grew up, people would ask, what's your dream? What do you want to be in life? And I was like, anything. Yeah, because I just felt that, you know, I didn't have control of my life, you know, that anybody could just come and kick me around.
Right, interesting. So, I mean, abuse is, a lot of women are watching right now. Many of them have been through the experience and they're still struggling. You were able to find a way out. They haven't been able to break through. Would you give us an idea of that point? At what point did you say, I'm taking my life back? So,
you know, deciding to take your life back is one thing. Now, deciding to move on with your life where you can say, I'm really thriving, I have owned myself, is another thing. So when I was able to confront my abuser and said to him, no more, you know, that was one point. But it was a journey because this is something that happened for years. And so it was now a journey for me to begin to own myself. I began to fail. I struggled to come out of the dark hole. The more I struggled, the more the failures compounded. And then I finished secondary school. I couldn't get into university. That it made it even worse. Everybody I knew, you know, and then I was being compared. I mean, my mother had she had great friends who had brilliant children. And I was constantly being compared. My mother would go to their houses, and then she'll come back. Have you heard that person's achievements? Have you heard? And I was just like so depressed. But then my life began to have meaning. I said, okay, no, let me do this. So I ended up studying secretarial administration. Wow. My father was so upset with me because all my siblings went through university, and sometimes he would mock me and say, you're the only one with the typewriter on your head.
Okay, so maybe because of the show, I get a lot of messages from people who've gone through trauma, like life. They feel like life has happened to them, and they are unable to move on. You know, that's idea of moving on. Somebody was like, I don't know if I'll ever be successful. Like a message I got yesterday, if I'll ever be, I see you're so happy and successful. I don't know if I'll ever be successful. I was abused as a young child. And in my head, I'm like, where would I even start from? Because I had no idea what to say to this person. And if someone is watching and in that space, how can they shift from trauma to thriving through their life? What's the first place you should, I know you say it's the mind, but like, what's the first thing they should do on that journey? Yeah,
the first thing you should do is whatever is available for you to do, whatever, even if it's not the high-flying achievements of others, whatever, if it is to sell bread, and I'm very, very serious about that, just intentionally put all of yourself into it, because that's what I did. I put all myself into being a secretary. And it took me 40 years. My turnaround didn't come until I was 40. I'm talking about 15 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm like, I mean, I was a secretary for 20 years. Okay, I was happy that, okay, at least I'm working. I'm earning a salary.
How does being a secretary take you to Obama?
Long story, but I'll cut it short.
Yeah. For me, I just want to go back to, you know, I'm sorry what you had to go through. But you know, I would like you to tell us how you would have preferred for it to have been handled. Because we have young girls right now who are going through this and probably getting the same treatment you got while you were going through it. What sort of, how would you want a parent or an adult who has noticed that the child is a bit different or has some things or has voiced out something but maybe not, you know, not so to the point, maybe they don't believe the person, but at least the person has voiced out something. How should that child be treated? How should it be handled to give that child confidence?
It's important to have conversations with your children right at tender ages. And that was what we lacked. I mean, that time when we were growing, parents were very, very far away from the children because of respect. Okay, but when you have a good relationship with your children and you're able to have conversations with them, you're able to come down to their level and really tell them that nobody told me nobody should touch my private parts. Nobody told me that my breast was mine. Nobody should touch it. I didn't know all of that. But thank God for today, we are having such conversations with our children. So if that had happened, I would not have been in that hole. And if I had the liberty to talk to my parents, you know, it wouldn't have happened.
Are they alive?
Oh yes, they are.
And how do you?
Okay, so no, my mom is late. My dad is alive. But you know, my turnaround came when my mom was alive, and I can never forget her statement when she watched my video with Michelle Obama. She had tears in her eyes. And this, my precious mother that had always called me the black sheep of the family because of all, and I really was very, very troublesome. When I was pregnant with my first child, I remember praying, God, please, I don't want to have the type of child I was when I was young. So it was, I mean, but so, you know, I wouldn't blame her. Yeah, but that was how she didn't know any better. You know, we're enlightened now. We have a lot of information, parental tips and all of that. So we don't treat our children as such. But you know, so my mother, it was fulfilling to hear her say, Oluomo. And Oluomo in my language is the chief of the children. So from being a secretary for 20 years, I mean, when I was about turning 40, I looked at my life and I said, no, I should be able to do something better. But I heard voices in my head saying a fool at 40 is a fool forever. And I didn't have a university education. And that was something that caged me even more. I used to be very intimidated when my siblings would come around with their friends and talk about youth service and everything, and I had no story to tell.
Wow.
So, I just felt I couldn't go any further without a university education. But at 40, I just said to myself, I would not listen to that voice that says a fool at 40 is a fool forever. I would listen to that voice that says life begins at 40. So I didn't know what I was going to fall back on, but I just said, I was just going to die. There must be something. If God has kept me all these years, then there must be something better for me. And that was how I resigned. I was working, the last place of work was Corona School, Ikoyi. I worked there as a secretary, and I resigned. I wanted to start a daycare center. That did not work. And then I sat back at home started doing taking home lessons.
Okay.
And then one day we were so broke in the family. I cried to my husband, no food for anybody to eat. Oh. My husband gave me 1,000 naira. I looked at the 1,000 naira with tears in my eyes. But that day I made moi moi. And that was the turnaround.
Wow.
My sister-in-law paid us a visit, tasted the moi moi, loved it, asked how much I made it, how much I made it with. I told her 1,000 naira. She gave me the 1,000 naira. I made it for her the next day. She took home to her family. Her friend paid her a visit, tasted the moi moi, and said,
"Oh my God,
Funto, I love this moi moi. Can you give me more?" And she said, "No, I'm not giving you more. If you want moi moi, I have somebody who can make it for you. Bring 1,000 naira. She will make it for you." And I made it for my sister-in-law's friend. When she called me to say, "Somebody has just given me 1,000 naira to give you," you know, when she told me to make more money for her, I had kept some back. I quickly ran downstairs to my neighbor. I said, "I have more money for you, just taste it." And she ate it. And then she came running upstairs and said to me, "Please, where did you buy it from?" I said, "No, I made it. I said, "Give me 1,000 naira and I'll make for you." She gave me 1,000 naira. So I made moi moi worth 2,000 naira the next day. And from that point, I said, okay, there must be something about this moi moi. I took it to church. And at that time in
Nigeria?
that church, yes, in that church, my husband was a pastor. And so when I remember the first time my husband said, "Go and say hello to everybody, tell everybody that around you that they are blessed and they are highly favored." Anybody that came to me, "You are blessed and highly favored. I have moi moi. You're blessed and highly favored." When the children come to me and they say, "Oh, pastor's wife," I said, "Tell your mother, pastor's wife has moi moi." That was how it started, family and friends, until I began to ask again, "God, what next?" That was the question. Because when I saw that 1,000 naira turned to 50,000 naira over time, I said there must be something about this moi. And then I prayed and God said, "Take it back to Corona School, stand at the gate." And I was like, "Satan, the blood of Jesus is against you." I was just so convinced that God cannot. I mean, I told everybody in Corona I was going to open the school. I was like, I was now going back to sell moi. But then I just said, looked back and saw how far I had come. And I said to myself, I'll do this. And so I went to the gates of Corona, stood at the gates and began to shout, "Moi moi for sale! Moi moi for sale! Buy this moi moi! Your life will not remain the same again!" And you could see different reactions, but hell no.
That's Corona Ikoyo.
Yes! I didn't care. And people began to buy. So they bought for different reasons too. Some bought because they were curious. Some bought because they were sorry for me.
Yes.
But I learned that it doesn't matter why anybody is buying. As long as you make them buy, that's what matters most. And that was how the whole turnaround started. At that same gate, I met a woman who asked if I could if I knew how to make other meals. And I said, yes. I started making other meals. And then another woman came, gave me the opportunity to start feeding her staff in her office. 100 staff. That was what took me off the gates of Corona.
Wow.
And as I continued to thrive, I kept asking the question, what next? And then I said, I want to go back to school. I don't have a university degree. And I saw on the pages of a newspaper, Goldman Sachs was coming into Nigeria to invest in women who were in business but did not have business skills. And they were doing it in conjunction with the Lagos Business School under the Enterprise for Development Center. Yeah. And I applied. And I was admitted for the program. It was a scholarship program. And when we finished the 6 months of training, the Americans came to Nigeria and wanted to meet the ladies. And they heard my story.
Oh, my God.
They heard my story and they were like, "We want to come to your office." And I said, "I don't have an office. I don't have an office." But then they came to my house and they saw me wrapping my moi moi. They saw the little space I had. They saw the zeal. They saw how I was hungry for the next level. They saw the support of my family. And they said, "We would like you to come to America to tell your story."
Wow.
That was it. I was invited for their annual general meeting. When I got there, I was schooled. Me, that I didn't go to university, they took me through different press sessions. This is how you behave in front of the camera. This is how you talk. Yes, you do well, you speak nicely, but you know, your pronunciations here and there. They crossed my T's for me and dotted my I's. And you know, I was really, my self-esteem was like
pumped up.
And there I was in front of the audience speaking at the annual general meeting. And the meeting ended and there was a line, everybody was waiting to shake me. I came back to Nigeria, kept building the business. And then I got another letter. President Bill Clinton would like you to speak at his program.
Eh?
What happened? Goldman Sachs is in partnership with the Clinton Global Initiative.
Right.
And Clinton says, I need a woman who started from nowhere, who can speak to my investors and convince them that women are worth investing in. Do you know any woman? And they said, we know of this moi woman in Lagos, Nigeria. That was how I packed my bags again and I went.
See, I've got goosebumps.
And I came back and I got another letter, this time from the Prime Minister in Turkey, saying the Entrepreneurship Summit is holding. I mean,
when next global
God has been amazing. Like I said, it's been 15 years from starting from 4.
Oh my Lord!
With 1,000 naira.
With 1,000 naira. I just came back from India. I'm the president of the association.
On this matter?
On this moi matter. No leftover.
No, Auntie, I'm cooking this by myself.
Don't worry, you're having it for lunch.
I must test this moi. Like facts. Let's go on a break. Anyway, I think Doctor, I don't think. Dr. Margaret, are you there? Dr. Margaret, are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry. You couldn't. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Yes, let's just digest this.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking about this profound story of how starting a business with 1,000 naira got you to the White House. YK, you're going to...
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to take you back. I mean, your story is very inspirational, and I love it. And a lot of people on YouTube are just hailing you and say, you know, that one says you are a true motivational speaker, best we've had on the show, according to Corey Michael.
Oh, wow.
But the abuse story is... Did the guy ever get caught or punished? Did your mother ever realize that your acting out was due to the abuse?
Okay, thank you. So, for a long time, even after I was able to say no, I didn't say anything to anybody. There was no point. I was afraid at some point. There were some issues that happened and that were not connected to the rape and all of that, or to the abuse and all of that. And I kept hearing, now, be careful, don't drag the family name into the mud and all of that. So I was very conscious of that, kept everything to myself. I didn't speak out until after I got married. And by that time, you see, one thing for me, and I keep telling people, is that waiting for your abuser, it's good if the abuser is apologetic or is made to call to make account or to take responsibility for what he does. But what if he doesn't? What if you don't even see him? You know, because at some points in my life, I didn't even see him. I had to deal with all those issues. I had to deliberately, number one, I had to start by forgiving myself. Because, I mean, we're 3 girls, sorry. Why me? So at a point, I was feeling guilty that there must have been something I did as a child that made him pick me out as, you know, as the one to abuse. So I had to forgive myself. And without even him being in the radar, I had to forgive him. I had to let go of my past. Because for as long, at some point, I remember having a conversation with somebody, even before I got to that point. And I said, no, I cannot forgive. I cannot forgive. No, he has to be held accountable for what he did. But then the person said to me, so where is he? Because at that point, I didn't even know where he was. And so I had to deal with that. Wait, this is your life. Your life is at a standstill. And guess what happened? One day, I was at a function, and my profile was red. I didn't even know he was there. And then I came up, and I made my presentation, and as I came down, there he was walking towards me. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. But I had pity for him. I just said to him, you know what? That person you abused is long dead. What am I saying? I am not saying people should not be held accountable. At the end of the day, if they're held accountable, if you don't deal with yourself, that person can be thrown behind bars. But then, what's going to happen to you?
Dealing with your trauma.
Let me take this call, then I'll come to you.
So that's why, you know, I'm so grateful to God that I could, you know, thrive and keep moving with my life.
Regardless of him. Let me take this call from Olagoke. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show, sir.
This is the best interview I've ever watched on your program.
Oh, wow.
And as I'm watching it, I am encouraged. And I pray that all of us will have the touch of God, the way this woman has had it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
All of us, I am encouraged. And please give us more of this interview.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I want to have, if this woman has a book, I want to buy.
She does,
I want
actually.
to buy. The interview is very encouraging.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. People would like to have a book. You have a book?
Yes, yes, yes. So I have a book titled Lifted at the Gates. Because my liftings really started at the gates of Corona.
Wow.
Each time I look back, I'm saying, God, thank you. I obeyed. Because what if I hadn't gone to Corona?
What if you were proud and felt this is shameful?
Yeah.
And then from the Goldman Sachs, I went on for my master's degree with Manchester Business.
Whoa.
And, you know, even that, you know, being able to take advantage of opportunities. For example, I mean, right now, I thank God, I convene different, you know, programs. Like we're having a program right now on Saturday the 9th. It's the What Next conference. And, you know, the thing is, you don't just, you're not just comfortable because you have overcome a particular challenge, because life is full of challenges.
Yes.
I mean, with this story, does it mean I don't have challenges?
There's
No.
always something next.
There's always something. And so you will always get to that bus stop where you're asking yourself, is this all?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was able to overcome this at 40. Okay, when I turned 52, I still had those questions. I was like, God, I'm 50. I'm 50. What's going to happen?
You're not 50 now.
Oh, I'm 54.
What? You don't look a day after 30.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, hey, tonight I'm like 60 is almost here. God. What next? So that's
What
why
I love about your story, you know, in Nigeria especially, they talk about the fact that we have a huge young population. So you'd hear a lot of stories for youth empowerment, encouraging youth to be engaged. But the truth is there are also so many youths who have grown older and never had that motivation, that story to help them. And they found themselves at 40, at 50, and they're thinking, this is it for me. But your story is talking to that group of people and saying that there's still time to live your dreams.
absolutely.
You know what I like about the story? You see, we can't. I don't like to start from the 1,000 naira. I like to start from the fact that you found the job of a secretary, which wasn't a big deal,
And you were consistent.
stayed on it.
Absolutely.
You weren't. It was you didn't say, oh, because everyone else is doing something else. You stayed there, and it was by staying there for so many years, eventually asking for that what next. You were able to have the opportunity to go back to Corona School, which is where you're a secretary at.
Yeah.
Right? So you were doing you're diligent at that work.
Yeah.
And with that place you're diligent at that, God still used to give you that that great experience
Yeah.
that you had.
Yeah, and you know what? All of these journeys that we go through, at every point, people we meet will become relevant even as we climb the ladder. So, I mean, being a secretary was not a waste. I mean, there were things I learned that I still apply now. There are people that I met then that have become very, very relevant.
Oh, wow.
They've been
Because you meet everybody when you're the secretary.
Yes, and you know, how you treat people along the way, you know, also matters. So, you know, I'm grateful to God that's why I tell people, and let me go back to the Thrive conference, the What Next conference happening this Saturday, where we're having a gathering of women, and we're having women who have gone through different seasons of their lives come talk to us, how they've been able to overcome the different challenges they've encountered. I'm going to be speaking also, you know, because you find out that at different seasons, you go through different things, and how have you been able to come out of them? We need to keep talking. Now, you talk about the young people. I keep saying to people, regardless of how old you are, the day your morning starts is the day you realize that, hey, wow, I can actually do something.
You can start at 60 for some.
You can.
Let me take this call from Farouk. Farouk's been holding. Good morning, Farouk. Are you there? You're live. Are you watching TV? Farouk, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good. My name is Farouk. I'm calling from Kaduna. I'm a
Yes.
first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be part of this program. I always watch your programs, very exciting and enlightening. I must be honest with you. The guest you are having at the studio right now, honestly, the moment she begins to talk, I kind of reflect my life. My life also is a replica of those, the part of the abuse issues was not there, I actually had my life listed at the age of 36, 37. I don't know if there will be a way. Anyway, I'm a chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and FCA. I don't know if there will be a way to link with this lady. We need people like this to use as a role model to speak to our youth, our teen youth these days. You've just discovered that the way our youth are going to social vices is just so astronomical. So we need people like this from time to time to be at the forefront, to be at the vanguard of speaking to our youth, at seminars, at workshops, at schools, at maybe talk.
Thank you so much, Farouk. I mean, that's very, very profound. It goes.
Okay.
Okay,
so.
See, got a question?
No, I have to say something. The atmosphere now in Nigeria there's this atmosphere of materialism. Our success is defined by how much money we have and how much money we can spend and spray and how much it is of it we can wear. And yet, with all of your success, I see, modesty. What is success exactly to you? What is it that in all that you have achieved that really in your heart is what makes you happy, content, and you can say, yes, I'm a success?
Yeah. Thank you. Somebody asked me a similar question, but this is the way the person asked, can you have it all?
Okay.
And I said, you can have it all as long as you can define what is your all.
What is all? That's
now, here I am at this level. What is my focus? I can be looking at somebody who is able to travel every month and say, I don't have it all. I can't travel every month. I still have to do budgeting. Okay? So your definition of all and your sincerity to your needs, because it's not everything that you want that you actually need. So what is it that you actually need to move from where you are to where you ought to be? Oh, so I have 2 children. I've been married for 29 years. And at some point in their lives, they needed me wholeheartedly. I needed to be there for them. Right now, they don't need me. And so I'm able to define how I order my life. So it's important to be real with yourself. And that's what we're talking about on Saturday at the Divine Event Center, Obanikoro, Lagos. We're talking about how to be real. For as long as you're chasing materials, you will be chasing shadows. I keep saying something to myself. Sometimes you go to shopping. Maybe you have $1,000, and then you've budgeted it. You've made a budget that I only want to spend $700, and there's this pair of shoes, $950. You have $1,000, so it's okay. You can actually buy it, but
everything else,
you're going to ask yourself, please do. Good things end in the market. They finish in the market.
No,
I keep telling myself, when I go shop, they will be there. And there will be better things. So why not wait? I like what the Englishman says. The Englishman says, the patient dog. Although people are contending against that.
It doesn't.
But yes,
in Nigeria that we
contend.
Because in Nigeria they say the patient dog.
It's nothing. That's not true.
Let me take this call from Amao. Amao, are you there? From Aja?
I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right. I mean, the last 15 minutes has been the best training I've had, for a very long time. I'm here listening with my children. I'm like 103 years old. You know what I mean? I will employ the woman to encourage our young people. I mean, we need people like this to talk to people. You don't have to go to Harvard to get some of these things, down into these kids. I mean, my kids are just so inspired right now. Finally, one of them is finally.
The kids are so inspired.
I'm just excited. Even me, I've learned so much from her. Well done, madam.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amao. Yes, you're going to answer. Okay. Go ahead, Waiki.
Yes, Biliki says your guest is courageous. It takes a great deal of courage to reach a point of acceptance and forgiveness. Andrew Streatham says the woman is an inspiration. This woman is an inspiration. It's very moving. I love her. I love calling her the Moi Moi lady. There should be a film about her.
Yeah.
There should be.
There should be.
Thank you.
You've done this conference a few times, and I always tell people to attend because there's nothing that can inspire you like listening over and over again. I see people complain about their life or spend their weekends at parties when you can invest that weekend into, no, it's not a diss. Mariah's works all through the week, so she deserves to party on weekends. But some people know that that weekend is it should be an investment into self. Yeah. And so I'm happy about the conference. Can you tell us a bit more about because I know people are watching and they want tools, and some of them are watching in a way that they cannot come for the conference this weekend. They are not in Lagos, but they want tools. They are listening to you and thinking, is this ever going to happen to me? Yeah. And if somebody is thinking like that, what should the person start thinking rather?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to start by saying it's the What Next conference that is powered by the Grace Ladies International Business Fellowship. So go on Instagram at Grace Ladies International. You see all the details there, and it's at the at Divine Event Center, Obanikoro. You just register. When you register, if you can't even come physically, you can join online, but you must register. And so one of the things that we emphasize on is please be yourself. Be your authentic self. Don't compete. Don't feel you're in competition with anybody. And you know, a lot of times we say these things, we don't really mean it. You know, look at life and see that there's nothing you can do by your power that can change some things. So why don't you just align with whatever God has provided for you and make the best of it? And one of the things I also say is that, why do we listen to people? We're going to be having amazing women like Jo Audrey Ezigbo. We're having Dayo Benjamin Lani. We're having Just Imo. They're going to be talking to us about their journeys. You have to listen to people if you want to get to where they are. What you do not love, what you despise, you can never attract. And that was one of the things that delivered me. You know, there was a time that I would look at people who were doing well, some of my friends who were doing very well, and I would be very envious, very jealous. And I'm like, it's because you've had the best of opportunities in life, that's why you are like this. But I realized that for as long as I despise them, I could never get there. And we also encourage that, have a strong support system. I must acknowledge my husband, by the way. I mean, before we got married, I told him about the abuse.
And he still went.
And I was afraid. I mean, I was so scared to tell him. And he said to me, that's not you. That person is gone. This is the new you. So I must acknowledge his support. But there's women who say, but I don't have my husband's support. And we say to them, build a support system. You can get support in your sisters. Don't belong to people who say women don't encourage women. Yes, we know in some quarters, but look for, we have a lot of women encouraging women now. So look for a company, look for a tribe that you can be true to, a tribe that you know will inspire you, will not put you under pressure. That's one thing. Some people are not even put under pressure. They pressurize themselves. Yes. And so that's why you start from having a very, very healthy self-image of yourself. I love what you guys are wearing. It doesn't diminish me in any way. So you have to get to that point that you're loving people, you're appreciating the differences, you know, amongst you, and then you're very comfortable in your skin.
I love it. I absolutely love this. I love this because, you know, I don't find a lot of people that talk like you. One of my frustrations in life is that when I see a lot of plastic sessions out there. I go to a lot of events and conferences. I'm there just because
you have to be there.
But I'm not getting it. I'm not connecting. I know what you mean. Conversation is just not it. No. But it's when I see people that are real and true and just real, it's just really refreshing. Let me take this call from Jared. Jared, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I have tested the moi moi.
Hey!
The moi moi is great. I actually stay or live not too far from one of our outlets. It's somewhat very close to Corona. And I think what is most significant in all of this, you know, I actually, as in, I know I visited the outlet to a lady, and she exudes so much. She's very, very humble. And getting to hear her story today, I think I really, just hearing to hear her story, I think I kind of relate to the person that I see. Because just seeing her, you would know that she's from such, you know, background. She's been exposed to all of these, you know, all of the things that she has shared today. I think what is striking, all of the things that she has said, which I want to believe you know, as in like inspired me, as in like inspired me a lot, was the fact that she went back to Corona, as in like where she used to be a secretary. You know, screaming, moi day here, or moi day here, or, as in like the people, as in like, you know, as in like the girls, as in like the youth of now, as in like us, so to say, as in like going back, as in like, and you know, for us, and I rep my rep, you need to protect my rep. I know if you go back, protect my rep. So I think this serves as, you know, a huge inspiration to a lot of people.
Thank you so much, Gerald. Thank you so much.
You know, Mariah.
I think, sorry, I was just going to say, I think what people see in you, from the callers and from what I'm reading, is kindness. You're not just a successful person or a success story. You're a kind person. So that is what draws people to you.
And, you know, that's good. That's where I was going at, you know, with also what Mariah said. So now, some of the values that growing up, I thought were values. I see that people have thrown them away or are diminished. And then if you try to imbibe those values, you're termed, you know, you're not smart enough, you're not ambitious, you're not, you know, out there. That's why you would rather choose kindness or be patient and things like that. So really, you epitomize like all these values and yet you're successful. And I just feel that children, younger ones that we tell about these values can see what it means in a person. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Our last caller talked about outlets. You have outlets?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes,
So you sell
yes.
So you're still selling?
So we've grown beyond.
Tell me about that growth.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. So I remember. So we from my house moved to a location and then to another location. And then we got to a point where I just felt we need to expand this thing. And I went to my bank because I was doing well. I mean, I'd followed all the business training, had a business account and all of that. And I said, I need a loan. I need to expand my business. And they said, okay, if you have 70%, we'll give you 30. And I'm like, hello, if I had 70%, I won't be here. But guess what happened? I got a call. I got a call from the US, from EDC. The Goldman Sachs had gotten in touch with them. And they said, okay, so it's International Women's Day. The White House is looking for 2 women. One who's been able to access a loan, and one that the banks have said no to.
Imagine! Oh my God! Oh my Lord! Now,
so God was just looking for everyone.
What took me to the White House? Not by power, not by might.
So the rejection self was a blessing.
I'm telling you. Yes.
So the mail was just like, I was rejected.
That was it. And I was like so sad. I was like, my goodness, so what am I going to do? And they just said, I said, this is what my banks told me. He said, okay, Ayo, we want you in the White House.
Hey, God of Jesus.
Jehovah. So that's how Obama...
That was not how Obama ate my money, but that was the first trip to the White House.
Oh, so you go to White House president?
So, calm down. So now I got another letter. After that, I got another letter. Now it was the United States of Women's Conference in America, United States of Women all over the world. And again, they were looking for a woman that will represent Africa, raised from grass and all of that. And they called me.
The authentic.
I was there. Over 5,000 women in the hall. Wow. I was seated. I mean, Michelle Obama was there and all of that. And then we had a dinner for her. And before I left, they had said to me, we'd like to serve moi moi at dinner. I'm like, really? So yes. So show us your processes, send us your recipe and all of that. And I did. I said, can I bring leaves from Nigeria? I said, no, you can't do that. We'll do it. So we arranged on how to do the moi moi, how to prepare the moi moi. And moi moi was served at dinner. And guess who was the guest of the day? Michelle Obama. Before I left Nigeria, my husband was taking me to the airport, and I just said, wait, my children were there. I said, please, can we kneel down? Of course, my son was like, she has come with a drama again. I said, please, can we just hold hands? Pray with me that I want to meet Michelle Obama. Whoa. And we prayed. And when I got that information, so when I got there, they said, Michelle Obama is going to be there. And guess what? We want to give you the honor of introducing Michelle Obama. I died. And there I was in the green room with my tray of moi moi in America. Hey. You know, there's something I love. There's something I say when I got in touch with that word. I rise and shine. It's in Isaiah chapter. I know this is not a church setting. Isaiah chapter 60. I rise and shine. I've confessed it this morning. For over Isaiah chapter 60, 1 to 22.
1 to 22.
When I confess it every day.
Amen,
I arise
amen.
and shine, my light is come, the glory of God is risen upon me. Darkness covers it.
Oh, yes,
I
yes, I know
confess
that.
it every day. Gentiles come to my light, kings to the brightness of my rising. When I stood in that green room with my mama in my hand, waiting for Michelle Obama, I said, I arise and shine. And there came Michelle Obama saying, Ayo. I'm like,
You mentioned your name.
Ayo, you are an inspiration.
Oh, my God.
Michelle, she said, yes. She hugged me. And then she took the moi moi and ate it. I
Wow.
said, I mean, so when I remember such experiences, I'm like, God, what is there to not... And please, may I tell you, I wasn't a nice person. I actually wasn't nice. When I was in deep pain, angry, envious, and jealous, I knew that there was no way I could rise with that attitude, with those attitudes in me. I began to pray, say, God, please help me to be kind. You know what? Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, help me to be fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Those 9.
Yes.
I always pray them, help me to be kind, help me to be loving, help me not to think myself more highly than I ought to. There are more better, people that are better than me, not more knowledgeable than me, that have died. So what are we talking about? You know, so all of this, they keep humbling me.
And we're out of time.
This is where we
No,
are.
we're not.
We are out of time.
Please, permit me to sing this song. Omagba leta yo. Omagba leta yo. I will receive letter of joy because this letter you be getting from myself, everybody. I think I receive it. But honestly, I think I joined the rest of our viewers and the ladies of the
Thank you.
Well done. Congratulations. They love the story from that how small you started all the way to how the opportunities came and how you stayed grounded in all of this. Thank you so much for being an inspiration.
Thank you.
I would love to attend that wedding, and that's this weekend. I hope many people too also attend,
Grace International.
so that we can learn from other women like you. And I'm so excited that the names you mentioned, I don't know those names.
Yes.
I like that. I like the fact that these are people that I would love to know. Because we're used to the usual suspects, but when we hear new names, I'm like, I got to know what this person is doing. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for being on our show. And it was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for
That's
having
all we
me.
can take. Mike, you want to see anything final?
No, I'm just, your story has overwhelmed me. I'm happy for you, and God bless you.
Amen. Thank you very much.
The Creator bless you.
All right, that's all we can take. Have a fabulous day. There's one brewing hot topic on social media. I can't wait. I won't tell you about it. Tomorrow, I'll see you. See ya later. Have a great day. Bye.